U.S. and Ukrainian officials are beginning talks in Saudi Arabia, hoping to end Russia's conflict with Ukraine. And this comes shortly after Ukraine's largest drone attack on Moscow. President Volodymyr Zelensky has proposed an air and sea truce while strengthening a pragmatic stance with the U.S. following last month's fallout. And of course, these crucial negotiations are being closely watched by global observers. Well, for the latest on this, let's bring in our correspondent Nadia Swan, who's in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Nadia, so given all the tensions with the Trump administration recently, do you think in these talks we'll see Zelensky making concessions to regain that U.S. support?
Well, Yang, that's exactly what's going on right now behind closed doors over here. Those meetings started about just over an hour ago. And essentially what the Ukrainian side will want to do is to make sure that after that disastrous meeting, that they are being seen as willing to compromise and willing to drive and work towards a constructive ceasefire and a peace deal. So from the Ukrainian side, we've heard from the presidential court, from the presidential head of staff, that the talks started very constructively, so that was good. And as you say, they will now have to think about what compromises they can possibly make. Marco Rubio is trying to establish from the American side what the common ground may be, or what the Ukrainian side are prepared to give up. So whether that's the issue of whether it's land or whether it's air that's been annexed in the past, that's we haven't got down to that nitty-gritty level of detail just yet. But all those things, including obviously the mineral deal that President Trump was very keen on pursuing as well, all of those will be on the table, and it'll be a question of waiting to see how much the Ukrainians are prepared to compromise.
Yeah, that minerals deal, I mean, that was pretty central to that disastrous White House meeting. Do you think there's much leeway on this? Will we see Zelensky yielding?
Well, do you know, he has indicated in the past that he is prepared to sign that minerals deal, and President Trump was very, very keen on pushing that forward, and that should have been signed apparently last visit to the US when Zelensky was there at that Oval Office meeting. Now that has actually gone on hold. Zelensky has indicated that he is prepared to go ahead with that, but on the American side, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, is saying that there are still many details to be ironed out on that. It's not just as straightforward as it might seem. So the minute details on that mineral deal is still to be worked out. So those are also part of the conversation that will be forming the discussions here in Riyadh, in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia.
All right, thank you so much, Nadia Swan in Jeddah.